Hello there, everybody, and I welcome all of you back to part 82 of Christian A Comprehensive History. And trust me when I say, guys, we are almost there. We are almost at the end of the line. Love isn't always on time, as you say, as the old saying goes. And previously, ladies and gentlemen, we kind of finally we got kind of like some like full circle in terms of who Chris really trusts and who Chris will go out of her way to spend time for, and those who actually play into Chris's delusions one way or another. This best exemplified in the closing minutes of the previous video, where Kwaii Sandbag tried to encourage Chris to. I think the whole point of Kwaii Sandbag's phone calls was to be about trying to encourage Chris to bring Chris back to see things in a less than negative light, because it is absolutely possible Chris could have turned things around if you just accepted the way things were, and we can start putting things back together again. It's like a gentle encouragement, but Chris doesn't really want to have anything to do with it, and you can sense towards the end Chris just got frustrated and wanted to hurry up and end the call. So now we move into part 82, and we are apparently only about 5 months away until, what do we even call it, 0 hour, something like that? Well, let's keep going.
Was fascinated. This is the story of Christian.
Yep. Sure is.
On February 17th, 2021, Sonichu, purportedly in possession of Christine's body, lamented to members of the Play's Discord server over Chris's body's historical lack of genuine physical affection. Hey, at everyone, I have some good news and some bad news, and this remains strictly confidential and not to be shared in public anywhere online. Good news is that I am getting to do some self-help and love for this body that it needs, taking a break, so to speak. And that is a definite key in allowing it to be able to get to C197. The bad news, however, is that even subconsciously with the Soul Star/autopilot in full sync with the body and brain still has one major issue that is really bumming it out. Not counting that time in April 2012, this body has never been genuinely cuddled or laid with someone who Chris, or I at this time for over 10 months now.
Yeah, and it begins. Yep, I believe this is what them in court would have called Exhibit A, because now we get into the fact that Chris is feeling upset that Chris hasn't got any for years.
Now, have known, talked with, and have some respect for, with a mutual return on that feeling from the other individual. And this body is still wanting to be cuddled or laid with a woman. This is a major deal, obviously, considering Chris's past track record and the online bad trolls waiting to lure her in on the false pretenses and shit. So, unless twist of fate happens that does bring Magichan and/or Crizel here to 1218 or something, body's got this long-drawn bummer of a feeling I can't help or heal so easily, and the body feels like it has epic failed, regardless of the obvious details in that statement that would shout open season to any bad or hater, in even reaching that milestone for itself in this universe 1218. This remains strictly confidential. I'm not going public with this detail, nor am I going to repeat Chris's past errors with a damned paper.
Don't worry, Chris, I don't think someone else is going to do it for you. You just
Sign
don't know yet.
or whatever. This body does need re-energizing, the marriage being open. Hell no on using any dating app, as any one of those is teeming and brimming with fakers and haters, and Chris hardly has a little black book of her own, much less present contacts we feel would constitute such mutual understanding or feeling, not to mention the total awkwardness. And yes, we have considered @Maker, and Bella, and Annabelle from the @Prater group in that thought process as well. We do not wish to offend anyone nor make anyone do anything they don't feel at ease doing, including anything for sympathy. Sympathy lay is majorly out of the question. In response, a watchman asked for Sonichu to help Chris's body take better care of itself health-wise, as it was allegedly quite susceptible to the COVID-19 virus. Over on Twitter, Sonichu rhetorically asked all bad, faker and hater trolls how were their Valentine's Day celebrations, implying that he knew that the occasion for them was justly unpleasant, because they had fucked up Chris's love life and dating capability, and as a result, all of them were epic failing for manipulating her for years. On February 19th, Watchman Anaxis,
seems a bit like a self-fulfilling prophecy, Chris, because unfortunately you fell for it time and time again.
Played as Sonichu the Chronicler, a character who Christine deeply trusted, was ousted from the place for his continued apprehensiveness and criticisms for the Watchman's wider efforts of protecting Chris and dissuading bad actors. The supposed Sonichu then asked Watchman Nova for the reason why Sonichu was kicked out of the server. Nova explained that Anaxis was apparently unproductive at times, sporadically useful, and a poor researcher, complaints that Sonichu would not validate, asking him to consider letting Sonichu back into the place. On February 20th, a Reddit user and her brother visited the Chandler household and took pictures with Christine's body and the backyard gazebo, offering Chris a Pikachu plushie purchased from Walmart. They also filmed a short video of their meeting.
Swag, dripped out, baby, dripped out.
Also on that day, Kwaii Sandbag and Chris as Sonichu held another voice conversation over Discord. Kwaii was this time accompanied by his partner, Lily, portraying a psychic in training.
Do you want to talk at all about the feelings you were feeling last night?
Well, I feel like it's just feelings that were going on since 2 days ago in the body. Remember to realize it's never been laid or cuddled or kissed properly by anyone else in mutual respect and love and consent and all that.
So you, Sonichu, in Chris's body are receiving the previous memories from the body, right? Is that what okay.
Yeah, receiving the memories and then the present feelings of regret, feeling like his wife felt like it failed in getting that far, and yet it literally has had sex at one time, but that was with a hooker, and fortunately that was a clean hooker. I don't want to go into too many details. I'll spare you the TMI. But yeah, this Marty and Chris, they've grown up together. They literally talked with so many other people between both genders and in between and all that. They've been on dates, had some relationships, even the theoretical relationships against the trolls who are faking their interest and all that. And
so would that be someone like I started watching the Geno Samuels documentary like last week, but I really haven't made that much progress. Would that be someone like Panda?
Yeah, that was one of the theoretical exes that turned out to be a fake bad hater type.
And as we end the end of the pandemic, since Sonichu is obviously very, very immensely powerful, are you immune to corona in that body, or will you need to get the vaccine?
Yeah, the guy's body is pretty much immune, so anyway, it'd just be an optional thing.
Would you make sure that Christine's mother, Barb, she receives the vaccine, or has she already gotten it?
She's going to get the vaccine at some point later on. We have her signed up to receive a call for that appointment to be made with the local things later on.
Well, that's great to hear.
They move on to discuss communicating through the Iron Curtain between dimensions and other artists rejecting the notion and calling Sonichu and Chris crazy.
Well, to the people who have called you crazy in the past, like, if you could stand face to face with them now, what would you tell them?
I tell them, you're scared. I tell them, you're scared Christine's soul. Your devil in you is really scared of her, and y'all are just trying to disrespect me and disrespect her. So, not cool, man. We're not crazy. You the crazy one.
I see. So, So last week you couldn't quite get the physical manifestation thing going. How has your progress been coming with that? Have you been able to manifest anything physical yet?
It's making greater progress, of which, in regard to the body remembering and realizing, obviously, what it failed at, what feels like it still needs, we're working on guiding magic chant from C197 to 1218. So he and this bike get together, and along which they would actually literally cuddle and all that, because, Chris is married to Magic Chan.
Uh-huh. And now I'm kind of going away from that now. This is kind of a non sequitur. Have you ever tried experimenting with psychedelics to try and harness more psychic ability?
Do you mean like going on like weed or any type of drugs, that sort of thing?
Sure. I was thinking something a little stronger than traditional cannabis and THC, like something more akin to like mushrooms.
Oh, I see. Well, the plan was to turn it into Breaking Bad. Okay, now it's starting to make sense. Yeah, well, let's just let Chris cook to see what Chris has got to say. Well, that would have been interesting.
Well, the majority of her life she has not, and she definitely does not smoke cigarettes either. She does not care to, she never wants to, though she has drank alcohol and she has a really high tolerance. She stays very lucid. I mean, you can get her really drunk, and she'll stay lucid, remember everything afterwards, and no hangover the next day.
I dispute that, Chris. Yeah, that's straight up like, Chris. No, don't, come on now. That's a lot of bullshit if you ask me.
But yeah, she's partaken a bit of weed with a few friends one time, with a kind of a YOLO bit. But she also remained lucid through that. So that was a failed experiment we encouraged her to participate in. So that was a good moment there when she had her 3 friends there at the time, but they were kind of trollish. But she was genuine, and they felt like, oh, she's too pure. We don't really want to mess with her anymore. So they split the scene, so to speak.
On February 21st, the Watchmen held a vote and appointed member WCT as the person who would roleplay in the place as Lane Chu in Anaxis's stead. He set up a new account through which he would act as Lane Chu and was simply referred to for Sonichu's attention as a quote-unquote new channeler who would continue to communicate with the true OC Lane Chu and resume his duties. The next day, Christine's Patreon account began following new Patreon creator Molly the Medium, who provided personalized psychic readings and guided meditations. On February 23rd, Chris's Twitter account announced the release of a limited run of gold-colored Sonichu medallions created by Prater for sale for $60 on the site Etsy. Each medallion came with a certificate of authenticity signed by Christine, and the limited run sold out within a day. Purchasing the golden medallion also allowed buyers to join the Golden Church of Sonichu Discord server, organized by Prater, where Chris as Sonichu would communicate with the supposedly most devout followers of Chris and Sonichu. Also on that day, the supposed Sonichu possessing Christine's body went to Goochland Public Library to meet with Caden, who filmed Sonichu imitating embracing his wife, Rosechu, in a seeming test for a later-to-be-made movie wherein an animated Rosechu would be digitally inserted into the scene.
Rolling. So you can do different poses if you want. You can, that's a good one. I'm gonna move over here for a second just to try and get a 360 view. All right, great.
Chris looks like so awkward doing this. You could have told me Chris was auditioning for something from Swallowed or Nympho, and it would have looked less awkward. I mean, what are you doing, Chris? What are you doing?
Great.
This is where I got Rosie right here. She's being the temp right now.
I gotcha.
So my hand's on her shoulder.
Ah.
And this is me making out with her.
That was good. That was good. Gosh. So, would you want Rose Chu to be within this movie as a CGI character or as a fursuit character?
We gotta have her as CGI as well.
Yeah.
We gotta do CGI with pretty much all the Sonichus, and Rose, she's pretty much.
That's not a problem. That's not a problem. All right, I'm gonna stop on one more shot here, just kind of holding it straight. Excellent. And
Since the video was then after sent to an email address belonging to troll Isabella Loretta Janke, it is conceivable she was being asked to insert Rose Chu into the scene, as she had in the past animated a short video for Chris's YouTube channel. On February 24th, Chris's 39th birthday, Sonichu wished her a happy birthday on Twitter and shared a post from Christine's Instagram account showcasing a gameplay video of Sonic World while utilizing the Sonichu mod. On the 25th, after 10 months and 24 days, apparently from the progress of the psychic chats with Kwaii Sandbag, Christine supposedly reclaimed control of her body, having returned from Dimension C-197. Chris claimed over Twitter that the universe was falling under a major red flag event, and that the dimension merge was happening, letting people know that they should take note of what universe they were in before they would be suddenly transported. A user questioned her coming back even though she had never left in the first place, and called for her to make more Sonichu comics. Christine retorted, "Sonichu and I body swapped last March, dipshit, and the reverse swap just happened. Go stroke your manly stubble from my responding to you. I'm getting off more than you are from the headaches I am having." Soon after, Chris complained to Hasbro that the new generation
That might be more down to you drinking G Fuel, Chris. You probably shouldn't be doing that.
5 iteration of My Little Pony was a daily level awful idea, citing another tweet which claimed that the new MLP movie was promoting leftist propaganda. She further wrote that if the Generation 5 series was not cancelled, according to a premonition, it would cause the apparent destruction of the world. The following day, she announced that she would take a break from Twitter until the newly announced MLP series was cancelled. 2 hours later, she liked a tweet from enabler Righteous4Quick, wishing another Twitter user a happy birthday. On February 27th, Christine went to the place to talk about her sadness because her body was lacking physical and mutual cuddling and love, especially since her consciousness could allegedly experience that with her spouses Magichan, Crizel, Sylvana, and Mewtwo while in C-197. She explained that in the past, she had wasted energy on fakers and haters, and would from then on proceed to focus her efforts at getting herself fully into C-197. However, Chris lamented, "My body is annoying me so much about its sexual starvation. It is annoying the woolly crap out of me towards hating sex again." The Watchman suggested that she could relieve her frustration by masturbating or using sexual vibrators, to which Chris responded, "Masturbation takes 15 long, tiring, and annoying minutes with my body, regardless of whatever method or tool utilized, and it has literally been that long an unenjoyable time since I first rubbed one out while my body was 15. And that was long before I ever started on."
Well, I don't want to spend too much time talking about, Chris's carnal... Nobody wants to talk about Chris's carnal desires, like nobody would. But maybe that's possibly a symptom of you being on HRT, Chris. Or it might be a symptom of the fact that you took HRT incorrectly and it completely altered your body's chemistry, and you are obviously... Chris, you are hardly necessarily what you would call, physically fit long before you were on HRT or anything like that. I think this is a dangerous cocktail of what happens when you need to be taking these things on board, guys. And I'm not just saying this because, well, it's far too late for Chris. Let's be completely real. But again, if there are people out there who are legitimately considering going on HRT, who legitimately want to transition, you need to plan this out as though you're about ready to go to war, because you will feel as if your body everything is fighting against you. And I think the level of pressure and stress it can have on a person's body is far too much to bear. But notice how Chris only seems to want it from a completely sexualized point of view. It's got nothing to do with company. which I think Chris possibly needs more than anything. But then, of course, what about when it comes to, just honestly, I mean, it's one thing to say about Chris's like biological makeup, but Chris never really had his or her priorities in order. Let's be honest.
HRT in 2016. When it was suggested that a stronger vibrator could result in longer orgasms, Chris replied, "Still, 15 fucked up minutes."
And as I said before about, concerning Chris's, weight and his health, even 15 minutes when it comes to something like masturbating is still considered Chris is that, at 39, Chris is that lazy. 15 minutes purely for self-satisfaction is too much to bear. If Chris... Here's the thing. Chris is going on about meditation and all that. You would have thought Chris would have had better control not only over her desires, but also of the fact that she can see... Unless, of course, it's purely conditional and, well, maybe this is what you might want to describe as relapsing. Or something, I don't know.
Chris further elaborated that having sex with a partner who could feel the vibes from her and vice versa would make the process shorter and much more enjoyable, reflecting that both times he had sex with the prostitute Mia Hamm in 2012, he finished in 7 minutes. Christine agreed that what she sought after was a meaningful relationship, theorizing that one might have formulated with Megan Schroeder or the Wallflower, but that prospect was extinguished due to his impulsively touchy and clingy body, along with his past exaggerated NSFW thoughts. The WCT portraying Lane
They weren't particularly that exaggerated, they seemed very, very clear-cut.
Chu wrote that sex is better with someone she loved, and not with a stranger. Christine agreed, but added that he was not the original Lane Chu, and again blamed Kyle for kicking out the original Lane Chu due to indefensible excuses. On March 1st, Christine seemingly received a new activity tracking device, Fitbit, from an anonymous donator, for which she was greatly thankful, as her then-current Fitbit was in need of an upgrade. Also on that day, she was scheduled to have another voice chat over Discord with Kwaii Sandbag and Lily. After failing to appear at the arranged time, Kwaii criticized her for being late and wasting his time, threatening to charge her for her sessions if she continued to be tardy. Not long after, the three began their conversation.
Aside from that, pretty much everything just been... Yeah, I came back last Wednesday about 7:30 when Sonichu and I did the return body swapped, and I'm still resyncing with my body, and I'm having to deal with my body, and it's been really bumming me out because I was unable to get a satisfying relationship in this universe, and then it's jealous of me because while I was swapped in Sonichu, I was in Sonichu's body. I literally had sex with Magic-chan, Crizelle, Savannah, and even Mewtwo. So there's all that, and now it's giving me a bit of a pain in the heart, like as if I got a broken heart all over again. And it's affecting me in the heart and solar plexus chakra as well.
Well, I know right now is a little bit hard because of COVID, but have you tried going out into the world and trying to find a relationship?
Yeah, I don't have much time to look for a new relationship since we got everything of the merge going on. So unless something fades.
Of course, it comes down to the merge. I mean, why wouldn't the merge be Chris's top? Oh, get lost. Why wouldn't the merge be Chris's top priority? I mean, come on.
It happened in the near future with amongst my local friends who I actually will be seeing again in the near future. Unless that happens, then more likely Magic-chan will be coming here and becoming fully physical. He'll be coming here to this universe. Mm-hmm. And I'm guiding him here. My body is fully into this, and I'm supporting it, obviously, because I want him with me as well.
Yes. Now, tell me about these friends you keep mentioning. I'm very curious.
There are allies at this company called Prater. It's a small business. They've been making the medallions on my behalf, and we're working on getting the books and even the ship-fake photo cards for Sonichu up and saleable and printed and all that.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
Now, I have a question about your time in C-197.
Okay.
Do you have any notable psychic experiences that happened? I'm a little bit curious.
Well, even though it was Sonichu's body, I have access to my abilities since I'm essentially the soul. I got everything within me in general, so I was able to manifest that out through Sonichu's body and hands easily enough. So I end up over the 10 months and 24 days time, giving him a bit of psychic power of his own that he's been able to utilize lately, that he's still getting used to. I'm feeling pretty positive about that. So, yeah, what hasn't happened with the psychic powers over there with me?
Very, very interesting. And so basically, I'm assuming like the laws of kind of not just physics, like nature, magic, everything's different over there. So you must be that must be hard to adjust back to.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Caleb, you have psychic powers. You've obviously put some thought into me and my situations recently. You got a glimpse of what was going on. I just confirmed it and told you more. So, from your perspective, what do you see in the near future for satisfying my body's need for cuddling and all that?
It's very hazy. I would say, it has to be proactive. Even if you don't think you have time or you feel too tired, I feel like you need to make the effort, and maybe then the future will become a little bit more clear. However, I definitely see you getting your needs fulfilled.
All right. Well, if y'all foresee any other more clear details on that, please let me know. But
Also on March 1st, a Twitter artist posted a 3-panel comic depicting Blake Sonichu being uncomfortably seduced by Sylvana Rosechu, alluding to the scene in Sonichu issue 8, wherein she tricks Blake into having sex with her by masquerading herself as Bubbles Rosechu. Christine responded to the artwork. Seriously though, situations like this are not funny at all. Attraction and sex under massive deceptions and manipulations. I ought to damn every single faker that shat me like that over the years, but the deities and I have something else more appropriate for you all. Lightning bolt, blue heart, lightning bolt emojis. The next day, she further elaborated. Yes, I get it. Sylvana did pretend to be Bubbles that one time, while she was still under darker influences and misunderstood facts. That was more than a decade ago now, and she had—
Chris, why, again, if this went anywhere and there was any sort of resolution to these sorts of plot points, then feel free, Chris, to actually expand upon them. Actually try and do something with them. And by the way, don't start saying that, Sylvana is not Arthas. This is not Wrath of the Lich King. Come on, Chris. That you had a okay, let's just whatever. I'm bringing the Lich King into this. Have I got off the deep end as well?
has been working with us and on the side of good for over a decade now. She has apologized to them. And she has made amends with Bubbles and Blake. She has never done it again since. That is chronicled in one of the newer books I've written and drawn while in Sonichu's body. Everyone of this universe will see those new books shortly. The merge is happening, you hating fucks. On March 6th, after becoming frustrated at Christine's infrequent visits to the place and apparent avoidance of the Watchman Maker Nightfee tweeted angrily that she was done playing pretend with Chris and sitting by her as she chose to play with stun guns provided by Prater. Maker seemed to imply that she would no longer try to help Christine, though in private conversations, they mostly reconciled. Maker publicly continued to uphold the pretense that she had parted with the Watchman in an attempt to lull Prater into a false sense of security. Chris had in fact chatted in the place more infrequently due to increasing distrust in them because of their criticisms of Prater and ousting of Anaxes, the apparent true channeler of Lanechu. On March 9th, Christine had one final call with Kwaii Sandbag and Lily.
I'm starting to figure out my powers. working on at least my conscious brain is starting to figure out these powers for real, at least for in terms of this universe.
I see.
And I was told by everybody from C197, just Major-chan, Mewtwo, and whatnot, they don't behind.
Also, figuring out your powers. How many times have we heard that one before, Chris? How many of you guys? Is it like? Have you guys ever seen the movie? I think it's called Chronicle. I think it is. It's sort of one of those POV styled movies where like three guys get superpowers and then they literally just pretty much cause havoc and chaos. Yeah, at least they kind of figured out quite early what they were capable of doing. I've got to go watch that movie again. I love that movie.
I need to definitely meditate and search within myself a whole bunch.
And have you done that?
Yeah, doing that. I still have a lot more in-depth work to do, but making good progress. And I also went out today. I went to the Ivy Creek nature area and walked a lap around and stopped by the creek. Had to meditate, sit on a big old rock, and put my feet in the water.
And how did that feel?
It's cold. It was good. Felt alive.
That's good to hear. So while you were in C197, I understand you caught up on comic book pages and stuff like that. When do you think that's going to be released?
Well, considering all those books are in C197, I'd say post-dimension merge in the very near future.
So
because I'm still unlocking my powers for this universe, which will shortly enough be fully tangible and workable to where I can literally do a show for everybody. Be like, hey, I can do this, I can do that. Hey,
have you
here's
thought
a
about?
thunderbolt.
Yeah, have you thought about like uploading a YouTube video or something on Twitter?
Yes, I have thought about it, but the way my powers manifest in this universe at this point, they're more tangible in feeling. So it's like you'd have to be right here in person to feel it, or you had to be so sensitive that you had to feel it and actually see it if I were to record a video. I'm also figuring out my other self-mental blocks just so I can dispose of them and get them out of the way.
Well, why don't you tell me about those?
Well, the obvious one, the fact that I was born high-functionally autistic, I mostly got over that. And
how did you get over that?
Well, it's mostly various and whatnot, but it's really about I'm trying to think of the term here. I have the term written down. It was essentially just trying to clear away any remaining self-judgments and self-criticisms. So there's that. There's also I've realized and learned recently that both my root and sacral chakras, they need a heavy amount of recharging because all my energy is just in between my third and crown and soul star chakra points. So those are like overcharged.
So I saw on Twitter today that you posted about the amount of willpower it takes to manifest something in this dimension.
It's not brain power. It's not willpower.
Yeah, physical power.
Yeah.
Do you mind telling us like exactly how much power that takes?
Well, you're psychics. You should know.
That is very true, but sometimes it's good to hear a second opinion.
It is good to hear a second opinion. Anyway, yeah, it takes massive amounts, and obviously my brain is overpowered along with the rest of my body and everything, but it still gets very tiring.
Speaking of getting very tiring, I know I felt like I haven't had much to say, to be honest, in all of this, but I'm not really too sure what I can say that I haven't said before. Chris, you're not a god, you're not a goddess, you are not nearly as powerful as you think you are, and anytime anyone just tries to showcase you some level of reality that you know fine well is true, Chris, you just don't want to hear. I know that, you know that, but you're still, like, Chris, you've got to know at some point that, well, who do you suppose is believing this? And also, I again, let's think about this before. Do you guys remember all the way back in part 26 when Alec Benson Leary said that Chris had a very broad definition of trolls, because, well, Chris thought that all, homosexuals were trolls because they thought that they were trying to lead Chris off the straight path because Chris had a desire to cure gays, so to speak. Or how about the time when, Chris also said that you think anybody that criticizes his work was considered a troll because they thought that they couldn't do better than what Chris could do. And let's be completely honest here, guys. That completely fell on deaf ears again, because why is Chris still interacting with people that Chris pretty much doesn't know, and only there's a huge revelation, and we will get to it, but we'll keep going.
I'm sorry, I'm, a little tired.
Yeah, I'm a little tired too. Anyway, so what have y'all been feeling lately?
I've been seeing a lot of energy in Virginia, and I'm pretty sure that's you. Just generally, manifesting and kind of bringing together, And I don't know, I remember we talked last week about relationships and stuff like that. Has anything happened with that?
Yeah, a bit of progress on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I managed to get a little bit of a further understanding in that from my further internal self-exploration. I still need to list out things like what I would be desired for such satisfaction from a partner, if not Magic-chan, that would manifest herself within this universe.
And you're looking for a girl, a female, right? So not.
Well, my body is, yeah, but also also on that note, I've learned that the important key is self-love. Because if I love myself the way I would want my partner to love me, so I can have all that figured out, then that aspect will attract the other person. It's like you're programming a magnet with these certain qualities to attract this type of individual, and then eventually when you get all the details sorted out, then whoop, got him.
Right. So I understand magic.
That was low-key, actually, to be honest, that was I almost had Chris on that, ironically, but then Chris just straight went, whoop, got him, as though mission accomplished, as though that's just that, as though you've just pursued happiness and there you are, that's job done. It doesn't. Chris was so close to actually almost getting it, or at least but then she just makes one fatal mistake.
Magic-chan is polyamorous in polyamorous relationships, correct?
Yeah, between me, Magic-chan, Grizel Rosechew, Sylvano Rosechew, and the one and only Mewtwo that was cloned in Giovanni's lab, we're all married together. The five of us.
It's not that those are just Magic-chan's partners, and then you two share, you all share each other?
Yeah, we all share each other, and it's a very good. It's also an open relationship for any other explorations.
Right.
Because concerning heavy psychic power types, this particular arrangement. So there's all that. So, but yeah, it's polyamorous, and I just feel like this is a good fit for me, and it allows me room to still. Especially in this universe, if not Magic-chan, find somebody who can actually satisfy my body's physical needs. Though with my realization that I needed self-love, I managed to find within my abilities the healing energy to where I could actually instill the positive feelings of that particular type of satisfactory love upon myself, so that I can make my body feel better.
Right. Have you had any difficulties with the polyamory, or I understand a lot of people need counseling, go to support groups for that, or have you been fine with it?
We've gotten along for the most part, and we've adapted, considering we're a group of psychic types, pretty much, it's like we
A much deeper connection.
We have a deeper connection, yes.
Exactly. Okay.
And then we work together a little better. You know, there's all, you know, if you look on Amazon Prime, there's a kind of like a pseudo softcore porn documentary type of show called Polyamory. It explores couples in polyamorous relationships. There's 2 seasons.
Now, I unfortunately will have to cut it short very soon because I have to schedule something for tomorrow. But is there anything else that we want to talk about before?
Well, I guess I'm mostly good for now. But yeah, both of y'all keep open and monitor as much as you both see or feel over the next week until the next time we get together and talk.
Of course, yes, that's our bad. We need to. We'll have more prepared for next time.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This was kind of this was not our A game.
It's alright. I'm somewhat on A game, but I'm not totally perfect either. So, whoop-de-doo, it's all good.
Yeah, cancels out. Well, Christine, you have a good night.
Well, y'all have a good night too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Also on March 9th, Christine privately messaged Anaxis's Lanechu Discord account, writing that she still considered him as the one true channeler of Lanechu, largely disregarding the Watchman's recently introduced replacement. She then wrote of her experience in seeking guidance from a certain medium, who was later revealed to be Molly the Medium on Patreon. Chris noted that she was given guidance on finding love, manifesting her powers, and the oncoming dimensional merge, claiming that the medium had also visited Dimension C-197. Also on that day...
You know what, I don't care, whatever, let's move on.
A trollsome Twitter user posted fan art of an anthropomorphic Sonichu and Rosechu, claiming that the original artist, Christian Weston Chandler, was dead, and had designed Sonichu to be a celebration of being super straight. Christian enabler Helena G. Fiorenza shared the tweet, questioning the validity of the claim that Chris was dead. Christine chimed in to write that she was not, in fact, dead. Other Twitter users questioned her on her divinity and her apparent lack of understanding in the multiverse theory. Chris wrote back that she and Sonichu both knew everything about the multiverse theory and facts, and claimed the other posters...
Hey, that's just it. How dare you? We do not understand what there is to know about multiverse theory and facts. Such as, you are not as in tune or sensitive to the things we do other psychics, and he's back off. Yeah, Chris
were not as
Chris saying she knows, but she knows fuck all, let's be honest.
In tune as psychics like Chris were. On March 11th, as Kwaii Sandbag and Lily planned to arrange another Discord chat with Chris, they found that she had unadded their accounts. Suspecting that Christine had turned against them, Kwaii reached out to her via Instagram to confess that neither he nor Lily were psychics. He apologized for deceiving her, but wrote that he only did so in an effort to help her after watching the Gino Samuels Christian documentary. Chris replied, writing that she allegedly knew all along that they lacked better insight and
Well, if you knew that, then why did you get involved, Chris?
abilities, and found it fortunate that she and Sonichu were able to connect with more people who could learn from Chris's insight. The next day, a Twitter user posted a parodic image macro purporting to depict Christian in his classic era, and then a more recent photo in which he is a different, conventionally handsome, well-dressed, bemustached man, wearing a similarly striped shirt. Gino Samuel sarcastically asked if the before and after development was real. Chris replied to him,
It's always a little bit weird that Gino is now referring to himself in the first person. Or third person, I should say, in his own documentary.
writing that it was fake. Another Twitter user exclaimed at the interaction between Gino and Chris, to which Christine responded that actor Ryan Reynolds could not possibly portray Christian in a hypothetical movie adaptation of their life, in which a woman actor would be the ideal lead in portraying Christine post-transition. She later shared a petition which called for the cancellation of My Little Pony Generation 5 in order to prevent the universe and the MLP world of Equestria from falling apart. Also on that day, as part of a self-love project, Christine posted in the place photos of a 3-page handwritten list of positive affirmations about herself. These included being a fully functional goddess, mentally clear and focused, not obsessing over trivial things, owning up to her mistakes, seeing through facades and reading auras, ignoring bullies, loving herself, managing her time and resources well, not getting distracted, succeeding by herself, and having a preference for sex that was fulfilling. Chris allegedly also wrote a 2-page list of concerns, self-criticisms, and blockages, which she would share with only a select few trusted friends, and would then promptly burn in a metal trash can. Soon after, she posted a list of positive traits of her 4 supposed spouses. She considered Magi-chan as sexy, intelligent, open-minded, loyal, and an excellent leader. Chriselle was youthful, cute and sexy, motherly or sisterly, caring, and an electric type. Sylvana was mature, savvy, self-confident, sexy, humble, and interdimensional. Finally, the Pokemon Mewtwo was highly wise with a troubled past, mentally clear,
Also highly wide. I mean, look at the girth on that.
supportive, handsome, an awesome mentor, and an overpowered psychic type. Christine tagged Maker Nightfeed to ask her if she matched up with any of the listed traits. As more and more people tried to sway her into a different state of thought, Christine started to push against their efforts, convincing herself that her perceived sense of divinity was being challenged and tested. After many years of indulging in fanciful lies, she now seemed incapable of accepting an inconvenient truth.
I would actually go one further and say that Chris, coming up, is going to be incapable of accepting an inconvenient ethical dilemma. And what you're going to be seeing... So, yeah, okay, there we are, guys. That was part 82 of Chris Chan, A Comprehensive History. And this is one of those occasions where, to be honest... If you've been watching these sorts of videos for the last couple of months, you know that I would usually have a lot to cover and a lot to say about, well, how Chris is, well, is a friggin' maniac, and that nothing Chris does makes sense. But you guys already knew that. Or at least, if you didn't already know that, you wouldn't need to go through me and stuff like that to know that. I think it's common knowledge at this point, if you know anything at all about Chris. So, yeah, not really too much else to add, but it is almost time, guys. We've got at least 2 more episodes to go through, and then I don't even know how I'm even going to talk about part 85. But I suppose, while we have got like a couple of minutes, there is one more thing I do want to mention, is that by the time we get to part 85 and finish it, I am actually going to work on something, guys. My own, like a fan-made part 86. People might just go watch when Gino Samuel revisits the series, but I think there's more than enough information to fill up the docket in the meantime. Now, with that being said, it's going to be a little bit different to how Gino Samuel does his. It's still roughly going to be about, like, the 40-minute runtime, because I think that sort of thing is fine. But I also want to sort of make it specifically about Chris's time in the Clink, because it covers about 2 years, and there's more than enough to fill up the docket. So, there we go. And I hope all of you guys enjoyed part 82, and I cannot wait to see all of you guys again in the next video. So take care, and bye-bye for now.